In this next example, we're going to primarily work with the table layout. I'm going to open up the table layout file, and I'm going to get rid of the hello world message. And the other thing I'm going to do is change the relative view into a table layout. See what that did for us in terms of XML. There it is, table layout. All right, and now what I'm going to do is add a table row over to my table layout. Now into the table row, I'm going to add one or more widgets, elements. So in this case, let's go with buttons, and we'll add 3 of them. Now all of them are going to be set up the same way. We're going to give them a 33% layout weight, and we're going to number their text 1 through 9 or whatever we end up having. So text-wise, let's say this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And weight-wise, 0.33, 0.33, and 0.33. So you can see evenly distributed 3 cells within the first row of our table layout. So let's repeat the same thing for the second row, and I'm just going to copy and paste this over rather than re-entering it again visually, and just renaming these guys to 4, 5, and 6. So far so good. You can easily, as you can see, create rows and columns. And the columns, again, are just defined by the widgets or the items that you put into the row. Now, what would happen if, for example, now we wanted to only put one item into a row? So let's go back to layouts and add a table row. And this table row is only going to have one button in it. Okay, like so. And this is going to be 7. Its weight is going to be 0.33. And you can see it's taking up the entire row. So we can specify the layout column to show this in. Let's assume we wanted it to be here on the end. If we specify the column as 3, we should be able to do that. I don't seem to see that property there, so I'm going to type it in manually. And normally I work only in the XML view, so the GUI editor typically creates problems. So for that reason alone, I tend to get my work done quicker by doing things directly here. All right. And in fact, actually, that doesn't go to the table row. We need to apply that to the button. Maybe that's why I couldn't find it. Yep, there it is. Let's see where that ended up in terms of visual layout. Still don't see it. So I'll let that go. It might not be a property that's visibly available. And so there you can see, just by setting the position of where you wanted that item to appear, layout column equals 3, we were able to put the button into the last cell instead of it taking up the entire row or being in the first cell. Now the last row that we want is going to just be a button that fills up the entire screen. And to do that, I'll add another row. And into that row, of course, we'll put another button. And so now what we'll do with this button is we'll give it a text of 8 and a weight of 1. And that will make it fill the entire area that is available to it. So I'm not going to write any code in order to get this working. This is just, again, a table example. And again, the big deal here is that the table layout uses table row elements, and the objects that you place into each of those table rows are what define the columns or the cells for your rows. Now remember that it's a grid, and so you have to match the number of cells in every given row. So in cases like this, we're basically row spanning or column spanning in order to fill the gaps. So let's run this project and see what happens. The other thing that I would really change is the IDs for these things. We should not have multiple elements with the same IDs, but I'll let that go. And there's our table layout. You can see we have our buttons, and everything is displaying as we laid it out in the XML file. Okay, so in the next session, we'll take a look at buttons, text views, and Boolean controls.